AI and education. Is it good or is it evil? On today's show, we're going to be discussing that topic, and we are going to be talking about how the effects of AI have happened in the education space and how you can best use AI to help you excel. And on the next level stage, I have got a performer, an artist that you will not want to miss. We have got all this and more coming up on the Business Breakout. Yeah! With an attitude so good, so fresh, just the way you like it. I'm so excited that you are here today. I feel like I'm extra excited today about the show. But you know what? Just like every single other show, I'm not here alone. We've got the audience. Hey, y'all. Hey, wave out to our live streaming crowd. I'm so excited that you're here. Thanks so much for being here today. Hey, if this is your first time here, then definitely let me know. If you are here with us live, give me a hashtag live. If you are here with us in the replay, then give us a hashtag replay. It is going to be a good show today. It's going to be awesome. And I can see that some of you are here with us live. I'm so excited that you're here. And today, AI has truly taken over. And for some, it's been a scary place. It's become a scary place for a lot of people with Microsoft's Bing Chat, with Google's Bard, and the OG ChatGPT hitting the public scene. It's felt like a virtual pandemonium, really. But we're asking today, are we asking the right questions to use these tools responsibly? And our guest today is no stranger to AI and was an immediate champion for it in her workplace. And we'll be talking with her today about that and how it's helped her, especially as a board executive assistant. Please welcome to the stage Board of Trustees of University of District of Columbia Executive Assistant, Frenika Rivers. Hey, Frenika!
Hi, everyone. Hi, Ella. So good to see you today and be with you.
Yes, I am so glad that you're here with us. And we've got Aya. Hey, Aya.
Hi, Aya.
I am so glad that you're here and that we've had the opportunity to talk with you about all of this, because AI has become such a big thing in our world today, and it's not going away at all.
Yeah.
So before we get into all that, please tell us a little bit more about you and what you're doing as an executive assistant at the University of the District of Columbia. That is awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm Frenika Rivers. I've been in the education space at this point almost 15 years now. Worked at a seminary, worked on my own university where I went to undergrad outside of Philadelphia, and now I'm at the University of the District of Columbia working with the Board of Trustees. And in June, I'll be starting as an assistant dean. So it's been a really neat journey for me to be on multiple sides of education, behind the scenes and sort of in front of the scenes. So I'm glad to be here today.
Did I just hear you say, you just got of glazed over? Dean? I'm sorry, what?
Yes, I'll be an assistant dean in the student services in the College of Arts and Sciences here. And so I'm excited to be part of a more student, a role that's more student facing. Very soon.
Well, speaking of that and having that role that's more student facing, with you being so keen on AI, how are you seeing this affect students in your space? Is it something that the university welcomes? Is it something that they're like, no?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think academia as a whole have a lot of questions to ask themselves. There's some universities in this area that are like, no AI, no ChatGPT, none of this. Where I am, we're still having conversations on how it should be used and what it should be used for, if it should be used at all.
Right.
Um, and so I like to think of it as a tool. It's a tool. I work in an office where it's kind of me, and for me it's a tool that I can brainstorm with and get ideas. Like, for example, I had a project to work on and I asked it, I said, how should I specifically do this project? It gave me 5 steps. Then I asked it, I said, well, how can I make this the most cost efficient project for myself? And it showed me step by step, okay, this is the cheapest way you can do it, this is the most expensive way. And so for me, it was a workplace buddy I had at that point in time. But I think the question we really have to think about, I have a 7-year-old, and at night she likes to ask me all these deep questions. And so last night she said, well, how do you handle not being able to do something? And I was so
Mm,
grateful she came to me with that question. But, one of the things that we're talking about in society is that we are dealing with loneliness with people. And
yeah.
so the real question is, you don't want somebody going to AI and asking that sort of question, So I was grateful that she had somebody in her life. And it made me think about, well, who do I have in my life to ask those questions
Right.
to?
And there's a
So when I think,
balance, right? There's a balance that
yes,
has to happen with, because you said something that's really it's funny and cute. It's your workplace buddy, right?
yeah,
That AI is your workplace buddy and you're using it in a responsible way. I think that's where we can get lost in this pursuit of AI and how to use it effectively and efficiently, and it really comes from asking the right questions. And when you are using it as a workplace buddy in your arena, you're not necessarily doing something. You're not in a space that you don't know anything about. You
right,
have the ability to really potentially correct the issues that you may see with the answers that it gives to
yes,
you, and you have the ability to do the research. And something that you and I kind of talked about yesterday,
yeah,
when it comes to students in the space and research and writing papers, because those are kind of the issues that have been coming up in the education space. Can we use AI to help us write the papers? And we talked about the fact that in that space, how is using AI as a research tool different from when we were kids? We won't talk about the ages of us and some of us in this room back in the days of the Encyclopedia Britannica.
encyclopedias, yes,
How is it really that much different? We still, because people, you mentioned something, you said something about people having to cross check, right? But we still,
yeah.
the Encyclopedia Britannica and Google don't always have the right answers. They have been wrong.
Yeah, no, it's true. And that's why we have to have our brains. We need to be reading peer researched and peer evaluated papers and using multiple sources and multiple sites. And it's going to be an issue if people take this as like, this is my source. And that's what we
Right.
cannot do.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It is such a wealth of such a big tool that will become such a commonplace tool for us
Yeah, it
as
is.
the months and the years progress. And
Mhm.
I love it exactly for the reasons that you mentioned, using it as that brainstorm, using it as that way to help you kind of streamline some of the things that you may be talking about, building
Yes.
things that you may be working on that you may not have thought. It's like having, like you said, that workplace buddy. I didn't think
Yeah.
about this particular thing. This is what I'm trying to do, but oh, thank you for bringing up
Yes.
that idea.
And it
Right?
doesn't take away going to another colleague. What do you think about this still? But having, it does give you some resources to help you think and brainstorm.
Exactly. That's a big piece right there that you've just said, that it doesn't take away the human connection. It doesn't
Right.
take away the need for your daughter to ask you questions about
Yeah.
things that she doesn't know the answer to, that mommy can give her the answer to, that need that human answer. It doesn't
Yeah.
take away you being able to be a deep part of the student body that you are going to be the dean of, and answering their questions specifically with what they need. It doesn't take you or remove you from the
Right.
situation, but it does assist you in helping you to be able to be more efficient in the
Yes.
work that you're doing.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what I think that we should be thinking of it, because it's not going away, like you said. It's here.
Yeah, yeah. You know, another thing I wanted to ask you about, you're moving now from an executive assistant role into a dean role. But I wanted to ask you, when on your journey to where you are now, what are some things that you wish that you had known before you became an executive assistant that potentially any others that may be looking at being an executive assistant or getting an executive assistant, those things that they should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, organization I think is key, and having someone and being someone that is a resource that, if there are topics that are happening in board meetings, that you are also aware. You're not just passing out the documentation, but you're reading and making sure that you can help your leader or the chair of the board, the vice chair, understand the connections between the organization and the topics at hand that are happening. I think for someone looking for an executive assistant is making sure that you're clear with them about some of the things that you need from them, and giving them ownership and giving them insight on. So, for example, I mean, I have musical gifts and talents, and I have quite a few colleagues who are in the administrative space who, sing on the side or write on the side or play on the side. And so those creative juices never go away. And so I think it's important for, like my boss, he's really open to me using my creativity to get things done in the office. And so that's been a really important part of the development that I've had, is having the space to be creative and the way that we solve problems in the office, and even being creative in some of the ways that I'm able to share and disseminate the information. I love doing training. And so when we switched to virtual meetings, he was fine with me making a YouTube video about how we use this one platform.
Yeah,
And
that's
for me,
amazing.
let me
That's
use my creative
that's
juices.
incredible that he has allowed that and has seen that your creativity is useful in this particular space. And that's interesting that you say that from the background that you have in music, because we just had your brother on a couple of shows ago. We hit it because you have different last names now, so but but also a musical background, but being able to take those creative tools that you had in your past and being able to translate that into the space that you're working in now is actually a big deal, and sometimes hard for creatives to be able to understand how to migrate their tools
Yeah.
that they used in one space into
Mhm.
another to come across as someone valuable for the role that they are pursuing. And
Mhm.
there's so much more that we could talk about, but we have more to do today. I'm so thankful that you're here. Don't you go away, because this is not the last time that we will see you on this stage. I am so grateful that we have the guests that we have today. It's going to be such an amazing experience. But before I let you know who's coming up next on the next level stage, I just want you to remind yourself about what we've been talking about when it comes to AI. If you have been somebody that's been on the fence about whether or not it's a useful tool for you, just know that it really is about asking the right questions, using it responsibly, and the output that you get from it really is based on the what you input into it. If you give it bad questions, you will get bad answers. So just know that, keep that in mind. It's such a useful tool, so incredibly amazing to use for what you have, whatever it is that you may be working on. Thank you again, Frenika, for being here and sharing your insights with us. And our next guest is a Nashville native and current resident who has been deeply embedded in the music and creative culture of that town. But quite honestly, he may have one of the most underrated resumes in the industry. He has worked on projects for artists like One Republic, CeCe Winans, and he's contributed to live performances to artists like Keith Urban, Johnny Lang, Patti LaBelle, and Motley Crue, just to name a few. And I have also had the pleasure of having him on some of my past music projects, and I am so excited to have him here with us today. please welcome to the next level stage, Joey Richey.
Day after day, I'm more confused as I search for the light in the pouring rain. You know that's a game that I hate to lose. Now I'm feeling the strain. Ain't it a shame? Oh, give me the people that free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Give me the people that free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Drift away.
Oh, I want to let you listen to the entire performance, but we can't. But guess what? Guess what? Don't worry. I have Joey here with me. Joey!
How you doing?
I am doing so well. I am so glad to have you here. It's been a long time since I have seen your actual physical face, my friend.
It's been way too long, way too long.
It's been way too long. And I know some of your story, but our audience here doesn't know your story. I remember when we first met, but I feel it was by happenstance in 2000. It was a long time ago. You will always be older than me, but it was.
No, you're wrong today.
But you came into my life by just a stroke of luck, in that I needed somebody to play my senior recital, and I had you and a few other super professional musicians that came to Belmont to play my senior, like, the look, I told you his resume, and he came to play for me for my little senior recital.
It
And I was
was so
so
much fun.
grateful.
It was so much fun. And, the amazing thing about that whole experience was it wasn't necessarily about ego at that point. We just wanted to play some really cool music. And the
Right.
playlist for your recital was epic at the time.
It
It
was
was, it
dope.
was like, I
It
was
was
like, yeah,
dope.
I've got to do this. It was so fun.
It was so, so good. But Joey, can you tell us a little bit about how you got your start in music? You have been surrounded by music, being a Nashville native, but what really drew you to be a part of it?
I was in high school and it was like a 6 degrees of separation kind of experience. I was in an a cappella group with some guys I grew up with, a cappella vocal group. And we did a Nashville Cares school assembly. And
Mm-hmm.
the daughter of super producer in the Christian market, Charlie Peacock, went to school with them. We went to rival high schools. Um, so I got a pass to go do this assembly. Then we found out that Charlie Peacock's daughter is classmates with the guys I was in the group with. She goes home, tells her dad about us. He starts trying to find out where we are. Then we end up doing another larger Nashville Cares event at Vanderbilt. And the guy that designed his studio mixed front of house for us at that event. And he goes and talks to Charlie about us. So he's like, I've got to find these guys. And that was the beginning of it all. Like from there, it turned into session work and other outlets and whatnot. And then going to Belmont for college, and then just really honing in on playing keyboard, honing my own vocal skills, and the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, it is. That's so incredible. And it's interesting that you talk about the 6 degrees, because your network is really important, right? And
Yes, ma'am.
understanding those people around you. And Nashville is a big network. And it's crazy how word can get around in that space. by just you doing a little thing, even if you're not out. And I'm saying that as having been one that was, I was never out networking, Joey, you know that, but people knew who I was from
Right.
the little things that you do. It's important that you keep your level of professionalism because you never know who's watching. Have you found that to be true for yourself with as you've moved forward in your career?
Absolutely, across the board. Everything is based on relationship and the integrity of the work that you do, whether it's in the session realm, in the live realm, whatever it is. And, people that move to this city, which they're coming in droves by the week now, any new artist that I get the opportunity to talk to, I tell them, you can do just about anything you want to in this city, but make sure that you do one thing, that is keep your integrity intact as a craftsman of your, specific field and as a business entity, because it's all business.
It is so all business. And I think that you and Melinda were probably some of the first people that I listened to that to that about from, because it's such a big deal to understand the business side of creativity, and I feel that that often gets lost on us creatives, to understand that business side and really keeping those things together. So it's incredibly important, and I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to to be a part of your circle and be a part of the things that you do. And I feel like, was that Motley Crue thing something that was that the thing that you and I did, that we did the was I a part of that, or was that a different Motley Crue thing?
Right after Hurricane Katrina hit,
Mm-hmm.
MTV Networks did the 24-hour telethon across all of their network brands. And I think if we weren't on the same thing, you were on something related to it.
Yeah, I was on the recording and you were probably on the live show. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That was some good times. We've had some good times.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
And we're going to have some more good times. Joey, thank you for being here with us today. Before you leave the screen for this particular moment, is there anything that you'd like to quickly leave with creatives that may have a desire to be use that as their profession? How would they? What would you like to tell them?
Number one, stay focused. The creative space has grown exponentially. It's interesting that you all were talking about AI in the first segment. The creative space has grown exponentially, and you can pretty much do whatever you want to right now. Stay focused on what your end game is and follow that through with consistency. And always make sure that your reputation with integrity and creativity stays intact, because people gravitate toward the ones that they know that they can depend on to always come through.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much for that, Joey. It is absolutely vital that you keep your integrity in everything that you do, especially in the corporate space. As much as it can feel like things are cutthroat, those with integrity really do stand in the end. So keep your integrity. And if you have been with us for any length of time, first of all, I want you to know this is the last show of the season. Can you believe we've had an entire season? We started in February and now we are coming to the end of this season, but we will be back in the fall. So make sure that you stay tuned to my channels here, whether that be on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. And if you want to really be in the know, then you can always grab the reminders and get on our reminders list so that you always know what's happening. Some things are going to be changing in the next season. It's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to what we're going to be doing. But you also know, if you've watched the show before, that we can't leave the stage without playing some kind of game. So we've got to play a game in the last little bit. Are you ready? We're bringing retro back. Bringing retro back. Yeah, I cannot wait. And you see the game board, you see the screen. We are bringing back that 90s trivia. And for those that are on the board, you see now we've got in the hot seat for the game today. We've got Frenika on the board and we've got Andrea. Are you ready to answer these questions? And of course, here in our Zoom meeting in the pink room, you guys can answer the questions as well in the audience. If you're watching the live stream, then I want you to go ahead and shout your answers out as well. But Andrea and Frenika, are you ready for the first question? Yes? Okay, here we go. Which of these Disney films was not released in the 90s? Was it A, Toy Story, B, Oliver and Company, C, The Lion King, or D, Aladdin?
Are we shouting it out or raising our hands?
You know what? Because you shouted it out first, I'm going with you. Andrea.
I'm going to go Oliver and Company.
Okay, Andrea says Oliver and Company. Frenika, what do you say?
I'm going to say Aladdin.
And Frenika says Aladdin. In the room here in the pink room, we've got Sandra with the Lion King. Here comes the answer. The answer is, why should I worry? Why should I care? Oliver and Company. Okay, extra points, Andrea. Extra points if you can tell us who was the songwriter for the music in Oliver and Company with that song, Why Should I Worry? Why Should I Care?
I could not even begin to guess unless it's Phil Collins.
Yeah!
Is it?
Yes.
We just watched Tarzan. That's the only way I would guess.
Woo, 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 woo. I'm sorry, I've got the whole song like going in my head right now. I believe it was Phil Collins. Am I right? I believe I'm right. We need to ask ChatGPT. I do believe it is. No, sorry. Thank you. Carlos, you win. Oh my God. My husband would kill me. It is Billy Joel. Billy, we love you. We love you. We really do know what music is yours. And I do know which music is Phil Collins. But today, the musician in me failed. All right. Next question. What was the name of the pink Mighty Morphing Power Ranger? Was it A, Kimberly, B, Katie, C, Casey, D, Catherine? What was it? Andrea has her answer.
I wasn't allowed to watch this show, so I have no idea.
Wait a minute. That tells me what kind of household you grew up in. You grew up in contemporary Christian household. I understand. Andrea has her answer. Sandra has her answer. Jenny is online, coming into us from Facebook with her answer. She believes that it is Kimberly. Let's see what the answer is. Hey, Kimberly! Go, go, Power Rangers! This is how we're getting around the music copyright thing, with me just singing the theme songs instead of us playing them. Oh my goodness. I wish that we had more time for more games. I'm so grateful that you all were here with me today. It's been so much fun. Thank you to our guest, Joey. Thank you for being here with us today. Frenika, thank you for being here with us today. And our live on-screen audience, thank you all for being here today. It's been so much fun with all of you. And those of you that have been watching with us live, we thank you. And for those of you watching us in the replay, we thank you as well. I want you to remember what we've talked about today. AI really is an important tool. It's something that is not going away, but it is something that you can use. And if you use it with responsibility, it can be the most useful tool in the world for you, and much more useful than Siri. What? And for you creatives out there, stay focused. Remember, everybody, everything that you do can go far beyond. We will see you in the next season.